Rodolfo, did you want to have a question?
If you have time, just a quick question. As a person who takes on the label of a socialist and works within a party of socialists, considering the current frame of socialism and average public opinion, what ideas or plans do socialists have to reframe what socialism is to the average American? Because right now, I believe everything you said wholeheartedly, but I don't think socialism could win right now with everybody's idea of what they think it is. I'm just wondering, somebody at your level of working within the parties, if their plans are taught or if this is stuff that crosses mind.
Yeah. Well, I've had a real privilege for years to have been a candidate for different offices. I ran for mayor, San Francisco, governor of California, president of the United States. And in previous years, decades actually, many people go, I don't want to hear from you. That's not my bag, and I'm not going to waste my vote. In 2016, I ran for president. I was on the ballot in New Mexico and 7 other states. And more people who would not consider themselves leftists would actually say, well, what is socialism? Because they heard Bernie Sanders talking about it. Sanders was the only prominent candidate who spoke about healthcare and education, about healthcare for all. And people were asking, well, what is it? So what's our definition? Which I think anybody could understand. You look at everything we produce or everything we consume. Our clothes, look at your label, Bangladesh, Pakistan, wherever, China, Vietnam. But that clothing, let's say a cotton shirt, you're growing cotton right here in Texas. It's picked by thousands of hands. It's prepared in looms, in factories. Maybe abroad it's put together, sewn, shipped. In other words, everything, our clothes, what you sit on, what you eat, especially what you eat, everything that people consume in the modern world today, every item is made by thousands of hands, literally, in social production. Nobody makes their own clothes anymore. Oh yeah, I do. I sew my own clothes. Yeah, but where'd the cloth come from? Where'd the buttons come from? Where'd the needles come from? So everything is made by thousands of hands. It's called social production. The problem is it's private ownership under capitalism. That one example, Jeff Bezos, he owns Amazon. He just bought the Washington Post. He can control the media, and what people hear is the real issues going on. They frame the questions in favor of capitalism and themselves. And he bought Whole Foods. You know what Whole Foods is like. You have items from all over the world. Quinoa, which is so popular now. People in Bolivia, that used to be a staple for them. Now it's like taken from their mouths to bring to the U.S. In other words, it's the private ownership of what millions of workers make together. That's the problem. That's the real dictatorship, not socialism. So if Jeff Bezos and all his CEO and managers, if they didn't show up for work, nothing happens. The owners. If the workers don't show up, everything shuts down. What is the problem? The problem is private ownership. Everything can continue to run and everyone's needs met if it's just put it in the hands of the people and eliminate the dictatorship of the capitalists. Because the dictatorship means that Jeff Bezos can decide that he's going to eliminate all those workers who right now do all the inventory in his warehouses. What he has now is these drone robots that do instant inventory and much more. They're going to have like private, self-driving machines and drones that deliver. That's the dictatorship. Or you look at Lordsburg, Ohio, which this year, the biggest factory in the world, which produced for years the Cruze, C-R-U-Z-E, car, is shut down. And the whole town, thousands of workers are without work. Where are they going to live? How are they going to live? They're going to become homeless. What's going to happen to them? That's a dictatorship. And if we have the control in a socialist society, then we go, well, why do we create all these cars? It doesn't mean the workers won't have a job. Maybe they'll be making buses or trains, subways. But the decisions will help in a big way to save the planet. Because we should be talking about the environment and how I think few years are left for us to stop this locomotive of environmental destruction on a world scale. And it's capitalism. And young people know that. But working people know that more and more too. You see, New Orleans right now is facing a potentially devastating hurricane. And everyone's left to themselves after a storm. But with socialism, instead of building new nuclear weapons, which they are right now, or building more and more bombs or more jet fighters, all that money could be used to have free healthcare for all, free education for all. Don't bail out the banks, bail out the students. Nationalize the banks and give everybody a home. Everybody a home. And for all those people, like a worker will say, well, I pay for my house. I've been putting a lot of money into my house. Say, you're going to get a lot of other benefits besides that. You won't have to worry about your kids going to college or that you won't have money for your health care when you're old. I think there's a lot of ways to talk to people. In my organization, the PSL, we're talking right now about all that. I mean, I don't know, what do you think? Do you think people can understand it and say, you're right?
I don't know. I would like to say yes, but considering modern America, I would say no, the masses wouldn't. They're so easily spun by the spinster, and they don't take the time to research anything, that I think it's really hard to get across something, no matter how beautiful the idea is and what it represents. If there's one single word in it that they can automatically associate with negativity, they're going to.
Because the media tells them that.
Exactly.
But that's our job. Our job is to create an alternate media, which there's a lot of it. And our job is to get out there in the streets. But you have to have more confidence in people. Today, July 12th, Friday, there are more than 700 protests going on for the children who are in jail. And we just came from Clinton. Myself and my comrades, we just drove from there, and we found these wonderful people who came from Seattle, Dallas, other cities. They came from afar. They've been there every day. And to hear them, they're not activists, but they heard the cries, and they're mothers and they're human beings. It's happening all over the country, and other people are watching this. It's not lost on people. It's not lost on people. And again, you either organize, fight, and have perseverance, or you give up. And we have to look at the history in the world. Nobody ever thought that there would be an Hugo Chavez and a great change in Venezuela. Before Fidel Castro and the struggle of his comrades and the people of the country, nobody ever thought there would be socialism in our hemisphere. Before there was unemployment insurance, the workers thought that was a crazy idea. Getting a check for not working? But the people themselves made it happen. So we have great confidence. If you're a worker, you're exploited. And we're getting more exploited. And the rich are more obscenely, visibly rich at our cost. So there you have it. But I think my explanation of how capitalism works and why it doesn't work for us, it only works for the rich, and our vision of what socialism means. It means having real opportunity for youth. Black and Latino youth and poor white youth, youth. What kind of a future do they have? Especially black youth, who on a day-to-day basis, racism blocks them everywhere. I just talked to a young person who works in a restaurant. She's white. And she said she sees so many black youth come to the restaurant asking for a job. And that these racist owners deny them. every one of them. But she knows that other people come in who are white and get hired right off the bat, as she did. That's on a scale like in this country. That's enormous. And so that issue of racism has to be part of our agenda. All the people who are invisible, you talk to them, they understand. I think what we get this image, you would see an American movie, you see American TV, no one's poor. It's the illusion. And so people think, consumerism, my God, you ever watch a TV show? Buy a car. If you love your family, you'll buy a car. Wow, all that image, Yeah. Did you know you have this illness? You need this medicine.
Yeah.
If it'll cost you.